Hello, Mark.
I'm Kevin.
Oh,
Mark,
Kevin.
here you go. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good.
I guess you're the partner of Mark. He was referring to you yesterday, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. How's business? Busy?
Well, today's the government shutdown, so I gotten a couple of phone calls related to how to handle that on a federal contract.
Yeah. That's got to be a bit difficult.
It's not really. It doesn't affect that many contracts. I was telling, the client, the first one that called in today, Ryan. He
Yeah.
said, "Man, I got a notice this morning that I got a stop work order." And I said, "Well, here's
Yeah.
what you're entitled to associated with a stop work order." And I said, "It's unusual because he's only got three federal contracts right now,
Okay.
and only one is affected, at least so far. But even in the days when we were doing 20 to 30 jobs, I went through probably half a dozen of these government shutdowns over the years. It would only affect two or three of the jobs out of the 20 to 30.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
it wouldn't surprise me, or it doesn't surprise me that I only got two phone calls this morning out of the people that I work with.
This can't last. This shutdown won't last.
They never do. I mean, I think the longest one in history has been about a
Yeah.
month. So
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So how did you hear about this stuff?
Actually, through Mark.
Oh, okay. What did he tell you
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah. Well, he said, it's going to be a discussion on how to get involved with government contracts. Years ago, with another company, I did a lot of work at McGuire Air Force Base.
Hmm.
So I'm sure I'm way out of the loop. And I went through the SAM program. Is it SAM?
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Is it similar to what we're talking about today?
Yes, every federal contractor that if you want to get awarded a federal contract, you have to
Yeah.
be registered with SAM, the System for Award Management.
Yeah. Yep. Now, is it a course we take, or is it something that? Because the last time I got approved, it was through a course. We actually went through a classroom course.
No reason to do that. So
Okay.
we're going to play a fun little game here while we're waiting on Mark. So you've heard of a SAM registration. So I'm going to tell you the answer to the question before I ask you the question. Are you ready for the answer?
Yes.
SAM registration. Ready to play?
Sure.
There's one thing and one thing only required to be a federal contractor, and that is a
Company?
SAM registration. I told you the answer
Oh,
before I ask you the
stamp
question.
registration. Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you sell cake mix to the Navy so they can make cakes on ships, what do you need?
Stamp registration.
If you sell bullets or aircraft parts or even construction goods and services, what do you need?
A stamp registration.
Okay, and now by the way, that's free. You can just go to sam.gov and you can it's just a registration. There's no licensing associated with it.
Oh wow.
You're just
Okay.
you're just giving them your company information and information about you. Now we're going to play the
Okay.
other part of the game. I'm going to give you three scenarios, but before we do that, you guys are in Pennsylvania?
I'm in Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Okay.
Licensed in both states.
All right. And then do you know what an electrical transformer is?
Oh, absolutely. We do electrical work. Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so the three scenarios. Scenario number one, the transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician in the state of Pennsylvania. Well, that
Correct.
has nothing to do with the company that got the job. All they needed was a SAM registration. But the transformer needs to be replaced by a licensed electrician in the state of Pennsylvania, so you have to hire a guy that has that accreditation. Okay?
Okay.
Scenario number two, the transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician. Well, now any licensed electrician from any state can go into Pennsylvania and replace that transformer. Understand this is federal eminent domain property. There's no such thing as a state inspector going onto a federal job.
Very good. Okay.
Scenario number three, the transformer shall be replaced. Well, now that literally means that you and I can go out there on a Saturday and replace the transformer. Again, this
Okay.
has nothing to do with the company that got the job. All they needed was a SAM registration. You just have to read the requirements and comply with them. And that's how I
Okay.
can tell you I've done $1 billion worth of work with the federal government. I've never had a license of any kind other than a driver's license. That's the way it
I'm
works.
with you there. That's great. Hey, Mark.
Fabulous. Nice to meet you face to face, Mark.
Nice to meet you as well.
So how can I help you, sir?
So, I wanted to look into, some of the government contracts to see how we can get ourselves involved. I don't know, Kevin, did you tell him anything about background or anything yet?
Nothing at all. He was just sharing a lot with me that I wasn't familiar with as far as SAM goes. I had to take a course, so I probably spent money foolishly years ago to become SAM registered. So, yeah.
All right. So I've been involved in a lot of different projects as well as Kevin. We ourselves are also adjusters, public adjusters. We travel to different areas that are impacted on catastrophic losses, and at the same time, we also own a construction company and a roofing company. So we're looking to see what types of contracts are available. How do we get involved? We're starting from, we're in the beginning, we're babies to this. So we're looking for some direction, and hopefully you can fill in the blanks.
I can 100% fill in the blanks. I mean, I don't know anybody personally besides, me and my family. They've done 1,000 federal contracts. They've generated $1 billion in revenue. I've done every type of construction that you can imagine, and every once in a while someone tests me on it, and I'm happy to tell you the job, what it was, the scope was.
Sure.
I lived all this. So
should we be focused on one area? Should we be focused on what do we do here?
In my mind, there's no reason to focus on anything specifically or any specific area, because it's all federal funded, and if you're not doing the work, what the hell difference does it make what it is or where it's at? I mean, I'll just give you an example. Look, if you guys go out tomorrow and get a $50,000 whatever contract, okay? Can anybody walk into your office, open up your filing cabinet, and go, holy shit, guys, you got a $50,000 contract?
Right.
I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
The answer is no, because it's private, okay? But all federal contracts are public information. You can go look them up. Under the Freedom of Information Act, we the people get to see how our federal government spends money. So my question...
So I don't mean to stop you. So I'm going to give you an example. So we did work in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did work from this past storm that just hit. It was exactly 1 year, and it was in Bradenton, Longboat Key, all in that area on the shoreline. It was all flood damage, so it's all federal damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
What ended up happening there's federal contracts that go out, and you get these companies that come in. Somehow they get the contracts, but then by the time we see it, we're the third person in line. Yeah, we'll do the work. We're approved to do it, but we're more qualified than they are. We're doing everything, and we're not getting paid the proper amount for the work that we're doing.
This is the big FEMA question. Would you like to finally know what the answer to that is?
Sure.
Okay. The answer, because people, what do they call it? The peanut gallery? They're all, FEMA doesn't fucking pay. FEMA's dead. There's no money in FEMA. Okay. Let me answer this for you in a clear and concise way. First of all, it's unlikely that you or anybody you ever really know ever actually had a FEMA contract. To get a FEMA contract, you have to be able to show the federal government that you can mobilize massive amounts of resources. You might have to, in some cases, show that you have millions of dollars of cash in the bank, okay, that you have 50 Tier 1 subcontractors that are ready to mobilize at any given time, okay? This is a mass resource type contract. Now, what people do think they got, and in your case, they think, I did a federal contract. Well, no, you were a subcontractor on a federal contract, okay? And so let's say you didn't get paid. Well, it's not that you didn't get paid by the federal government. I guarantee you the Tier 1 top prime federal contractor that he got his money in likely 14 days or whatever the agreement was as part of their contract. But the fact that some subcontractors don't get paid, if it's been within 1 year, I can help almost in every case get that money that they're entitled to. But as far as you being more qualified, you might be more qualified, but getting an actual FEMA contract is quite difficult, and it's a hell of a marriage with the federal government that I probably wouldn't even be interested in. Because
they're using what it appeared to be is that. So I guess you could look at it. So in my situation, I'm almost like a broker in these types of situations, right? So one of the contracting companies that I work with, 3 storms ago, in Texas and in Florida, the company that I was working with made sure that they had all their certifications and everything in order to raise the properties to a certain level. I think you can go up 3 stories and have all the proper certifications. It appears that the other companies use the certifications that my guy was able to obtain to get the contract itself, and then my guy ended up getting paid to do the work, but using his contracts. And then when push came to shove and things weren't going well with the company, which was probably the second company in line, they kicked that other company out and brought my guy up. But we want to have the contracts ourselves. We're already certified.
Yeah, I teach you how to do that. But by the way, you brought up an interesting point. Kevin, are you in front of a computer?
Yeah.
I want you to Google something.
Okay.
FAR, F-A-R.
F-A-R.
Space 15.305.
50.305?
15.305.
Okay, hold on.
FAR stands for Federal Acquisition Regulation. So
yep,
FAR.
acquisition.gov.
Yep. So I want you to click that first link for FAR 15.305.
Let's see it.
And I want you to go down to section number 2, the actual number 2, and then go down to section III, and I want you to read it out loud.
The evaluation should take into account past performance information regarding predecessor companies, key personnel who have relevant experience, or subcontractors that will perform major or critical aspects of the requirement when such information is relevant to the instant acquisition.
Okay, read that last part again about the subcontractors.
Or the subcontractors that will perform major or critical aspects of the requirement when such information is relevant to the instant acquisition.
So do you see now that the guy you had the contract with was using your experience as a major subcontractor who was performing, aspects of the instant acquisition? That's how that worked.
Wow.
So the way I teach it to my guys is, if you've never done a roll-up door job and the job is a roll-up door job, you go find ABC roll-up doors locally who's done a shit ton of them, and you put that in your proposal that we intend to use ABC roll-up doors even though we've never done one.
Gotcha. It's crazy.
It's a question on the contracts. Everything's prevailing rate?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, basically, Mark, it sounds like it's a no-brainer. We can get registered, and then we just got to find lists and where we want to start the...
Well, actually, you guys are at a disadvantage in this conversation because there was a video that was texted to Mark, and Mark's a busy guy, and I get that. But there's a 1-hour video that most people are required to watch prior to getting into this Zoom with me. And it's the video where I teach you how to find, bid, negotiate, and perform federal government construction contracts everywhere at no risk. Now,
I look forward to taking that. Yep, I do that. No problem.
So, Mark, do you have a link to that video?
I'll forward it over to Kevin.
Okay,
yeah.
But you have it.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. So my suggestion is you guys watch that video and then get back with me, and then we'll, you'll be at in a way better position to discuss my stuff if you've
Okay.
seen that, because that contractor, he asked me more questions than anybody had ever asked me before. He asked about bonding. He asked about the different types of payment and performance protection. I cover in that video the economy and the ups and downs in the economy and how that affects federal contracts.
Early payments for a discount, right? They still do that?
Yeah, well, I never give the federal government a discount on pay terms because they pay in 14 days. So in federal contracts, they pay in what's called the Federal Prompt Payment Act. You can Google that, but there's a portion of the Federal Prompt Payment Act that says that the contractor shall be paid. Uh, the contractor shall be paid. Uh, why am I drawing a blank on this?
It's okay.
Oh, here I found it. The contractor shall be paid monthly or more often as deemed necessary by the contracting officer on a percentage complete basis. So in other words, if you're 50% complete, you get 50% of the money of the contract. It goes on to say that on a partial pay request, meaning less than 100%, you shall be paid within 14 days. On a final pay request, you shall be paid within 30 days. So what I tell my guys to do is even when you're 100% complete, bill the job 98% complete for two reasons. One is to get the money within 14 days. But the other reason is if you bill it 98% complete, the contract is still open. Meaning that over the next 30 days, when you bill that final 2%, you can be negotiating with the contracting officers on any change orders. Hey, do you guys have some extra money? If you had some extra money, we could do this, that, and the other. Okay? So it gives you an opportunity to get to, it doesn't work every time, but if you bill it 100%, that's it. They pay it, the contract's closed. Okay? Now, sometimes a contracting officer will come back and say, wait a minute, you're 100% complete. Why are you only billing at 98% complete? I tell my guys to say, listen, we're in the construction business, and we know that when we leave a job, if there's going to be a warranty issue, it almost always happens within the first 30 days of when we leave. We just want to make sure the government's protected for that. But my true intentions are to get paid in 14 days.
So, Sean, where's your compensation in all this?
That's discussed. Look, for right now, I consider my job just to open people's eyes as to what this is and what this isn't, and just answer questions and solve problems on federal contracts. Look, I did $1 billion worth of work for the federal government. I don't need your money or anybody else's money. Right now, let's just focus on education.
All right, sounds good to me.
With all that said, I'll answer any other questions you guys want to know.
So I have another question. So I also own a low voltage company.
Yep.
Did a lot of work in the Philadelphia market with, Philadelphia's a union city, right?
Yep.
So, but the interesting part is I did work specifically for, Doherty Electric, which is the head of the union for Philly. A lot of large projects, hotels, apartment complexes, high rises, all of that. They don't like to do low voltage is a weird thing because the electrical unions will bid on these government contracts, but the problem is on the low voltage side, they don't want to do it. It's part of what they may bid, but they don't want to do that piece of the work because they don't want to be responsible for the equipment at the end of the job. They don't want to be responsible for maintaining and warranting and the maintenance agreements or dealing with any of that. How does that work with government contracts with low voltage?
Excuse me. You'll have a 1-year bumper-to-bumper warranty on all the work. Now, look, I don't give a crap whether I'm working with a union outfit or a non-union outfit. It's a prevailing wage job. The only advantage that a union outfit has over a non-union is that you have the wage rate and then you have the fringe benefits. The fringe benefits, they don't have to pay directly to the union worker because it's already incorporated in their compensation package. But on non-union companies, you got to pay the guy in the field doing the work wage rate plus the fringe benefits. So it might be $35 an hour plus $10. Yep. Okay. So that's the only advantage there. So at the end of the day, I don't really give a crap one way or the other. and I don't care how a union outfit might bid a job. As far as I'm concerned, in this scenario, that would essentially be your competition, and screw them, let them drown. Uh, if that makes sense.
So what they do the same thing with us. They'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and work with the architect on the job. We'll work with the GC on the job. We'll work with the owner of the job. Maybe it's not a government contract. We'll work with the owner of the job, and then as part of their bid, they'll submit what we have in order to get the job.
Okay, but you're talking about a commercial situation.
I'm talking about a commercial
okay,
job.
Look,
but there's a lot of jobs that we're not involved with that's low voltage that they shouldn't even be specking.
Okay. I need to make your life a lot more simple, okay? And when you're talking to a guy like me, all I can offer you is perspective. Whether you decide to latch on to what I'm about to lay down is entirely up to you, okay? But I'll just tell you this. Most people are a product of their environment, okay? You talk to a guy from New York City, he sounds like a guy from New York City. You talk to a guy from Southern Alabama, he sounds like a country guy from Southern Alabama. People know what they're exposed to. You didn't wake up when you were 10 years old and say, I want to be an insurance adjuster someday. Somebody along the way suggested to you that this was a way to make money, and having money allows you to buy shit, and that was important to you, and so you invested a bunch of time and effort to do whatever it is you decided to do because that's what you were exposed to.
Sure.
I was raised in a completely different environment by two guys who built a company in the 80s that went from $500,000 in work the first year to $95 million a year the ninth year. They doubled in size and revenue every year for 10 years straight. And that was when, in 1989 was when $95 million was a fuck ton of money. Okay? I was raised by people in the business of federal government construction, doing work for our federal government all over the United States. And I'm here to tell you that the jobs that we get as federal contractors are public information. And because they're public information, do you think I would ever lie to anybody about any federal contract I ever got?
Of course not.
Somebody could look that up and call me a liar. The people I've taught this to, would I lie about their contracts that they get?
Right. No.
Absolutely not. Okay? If you had to go replace a 3-ton air conditioner at your house today, how much do you think it would cost to replace that 3-ton air conditioner?
Kevin knows that, so go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, just the air conditioner, not the heater? 3-ton AC, realistically, I could do it for around 11,000.
Okay, 11,000. That's a perfect number. That's on par with what people tell me when I ask them that question. Okay? Now, the last 3-ton air conditioner I sold to the federal government, I sold it for $107,000. My first question to you is, do you believe me?
I do believe it.
Okay? Now, that job was in Alaska. Do you think I went to Alaska to go install a 3-ton air conditioner?
No.
No, I called a local HVAC guy. Do you think I cared whether he charged me $7, $11, or even $15,000?
No.
Not at all. And he charged me $15,000. Okay? And now, once I get...
My question to you is, so you hired a subcontractor. Does he have to pay the rate?
Yes.
Okay. So you make him aware of it ahead of time?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
It really comes into play for roofing companies, because when I'm talking to a roofer about a roof, typically in the roofing industry, they pay their laborers by the square. Okay?
Yeah.
But on a federal contract, they have to be paid by the hour. So I tell the guy, hey, on this contract, you're going to have to pay him by... Your guys are going to love you. It's a big-time opportunity to get paid by the hour.
Kidding.
But you have to charge me more.
Right.
And that establishes credibility right there, because I'm clearly looking out for him. I'm not trying to, oh, gotcha, you gave me this rate, but now you're going to have to pay him. I'm never doing that. Okay?
Are you required to collect payroll reports from the subs that work for you?
Yes, certified payroll. I teach that all, how to collect those and turn them in on a weekly basis. Okay. Now, on that federal contract for the 3-ton air conditioner, once I secured the contract, what do I have to do?
Find a subcontractor willing to do the job.
Already did that.
submit the work order, I guess.
Submit for payment.
So, okay, you're right. At some point, I'm gonna have to submit for payment. I might have to turn in a certified payroll report. Okay,
Right.
I might have to write up a schedule. My point being, look, it's gonna take 3 weeks to secure the unit, go install it, whatever. But how many hours of my time is gonna be involved in that?
Oh, you're saying you can bill for the hours of time.
No, no. I'm asking you a question. Over the next 3 weeks, while that guy goes and installs that HVAC unit, how much of my time is going to be sucked up in that contract?
Absolutely nothing. You're making money elsewhere.
That's right. I'm working on. So, can you understand that I'm making $80,000 profit on that guy going out there and installing that AC unit, but
Yeah.
I might only be involved in the contract a couple of hours of my time while that's all happening. Okay? I'm making $40,000 an hour. That's a huge fucking difference than your business and my business. Where Mark's saying, hey, I'm often involved in these meetings, and then we're doing all this paperwork, and then we're setting what the deal is. And when he's spewing that out of his mouth, and I'm thinking, that's because that's the only way he knows how to make all this shit work. There's a completely different side of this thing, and I teach it in that video that I suggested you guys watch.
Well, I'm stepping forward a little bit. Once we're involved with you and things are going to start moving forward, are you going to be involved and make sure we don't leave too much money on the table or make sure we're not charging too much on the contract? Is there anybody that can help with that?
Me.
All right, good. All right, great. Okay.
I mean, hell, you got the right haircut for this business.
That's right. Absolutely. All right. I say we should move forward with this, Mark.
So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send you the video. And then
All right, I'll watch it tonight.
You want us to circle back today or tomorrow and schedule another time? Is that what you want us to do?
Mark, I just want you to watch that video at some point. I don't care if it's today, tomorrow, next week, or next year. Okay? There's never a hurry to anything that I do. I just want to answer people's questions, solve their problems, make sure they've got the right education for every step of the way, and everything starts with that video. And then just text me back and say, hey, I want to talk, or hey, I want to join, or hey, I want whatever you want to do, or entirely watch the video and go, that guy's a fucking nutcase, and move on with your life.
All right.
It sounds good.
All right.
Sean, pleasure meeting you, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to meet you guys too.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet, man. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye bye.